EPA and WA meteorologist Bobby Marks is here with your outlook for March 18th, 2021. We have rain coming into the region today that comes in this morning. There will be mainly just showers this morning that will evolve into periods of rain and heavy rain at times during the afternoon and evening hours. And you can see that. That's why I have this image behind me today to emphasize the fact that it will be raining and it'll be a washout. Today we're expecting temperatures to generally be near average, as you can see by below the video here, with not only the rain icon, but also 45 degrees in the far northern areas, 52 far southeast. So that's kind of near average. And then we take a step back on Friday in order to take a step forward. Okay, it is fittingly the last full day of winter, and it'll feel like every bit of it, with below average temperatures, 38 up north, 45 farther southeast. But I also have the snow icon on here, and that's because I think you might see some areas end as a few flakes at the tail end of this. Now, northern areas, the far northern tier of Pennsylvania and possibly New Jersey, will see some minor accumulations of snow, especially in elevation areas, but not a lot. But areas further south, you might end as some snowflakes, or at least mix with some snowflakes at the end before this does come to land. There's some conflicting data with that. I'll show you that in a second. But here's the European model's depiction of this system coming in. Now, we are not going to have the severe weather associated with this that was quite evident yesterday across Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and there were some several tornado reports, especially in Alabama. It was pretty hard hit last night. So that high risk of severe weather had a lot of reports for that. So I've seen some bus calls about that, about the high risk not panning out. I'm not sure what people are looking at because it's a probability-based thing, and it looked pretty active to me. Maybe not as much in the tornado department as they thought, but that's a good thing, okay? So there's no such thing as a bust when it comes to severe weather, unless you're predicting an epic outbreak and then absolutely nothing happens. That'd be a different story. But, we definitely had some severe reports down there. Regardless, this area of low pressure is going to be driving the rain, and it is moving off to our south. So we're not going to be in the warm sector. We're not going to have severe weather associated with this. It's just going to be rain, and it will become heavy at times during the afternoon and evening. And then as high pressure nudges down from the north and east, that's going to bring us our cold area on Friday. It's going to change to snow for the far northern tier of Pennsylvania. And you can see that here, and then also New Jersey. And then that will end on early Friday morning is what the projection for that is. So let's get over the NAM high-res feature simulator radar. I'm going to start this off at 6 a.m. You already have some ongoing showers and making its way further to the north and east at this point. And this will just spread the area and bring just generally showers until we get to about late morning or noon. And then you get some steadier rain come in. Again, there'll be some embedded heavier rain in this during the afternoon hours as well. They'll go right into the evening. And then you see this changeover as you get to mid-evening or so. You see a changeover to snow from northwest to southeast. Now, this is a NAM's indication here. And then 3-kilometer NAM is not very aggressive with snow, and it keeps it across the far northern tier as shown here. But there's just some minor accumulations just found across that northern tier, and that's it. You don't see any mixing or changeover further south at all. We did send alerts today for this, for not only the rain, but also for some back-end snow, or at least mixing with snow, or possibly briefly changing to snow at the end, even further, pretty far south, too. Okay, and that was kind of a CYA thing, I guess, but at the same point, I see a situation where that could happen. And it won't be anything that's going to produce more than a trace further south, but if it's snowing, people notice that, and if we don't mention it, we're gonna hear it. So again, nothing significant, even for those areas that are getting snow. As I go over to the winter radar here, this is where the areas of snow is expected to be. Now, this might be a little bit light across some of these areas. Higher elevations are going to be. We actually sent coating to 3 inches in some areas, so coating in the lower elevations, coating to 1 inch in the lower elevations. Higher elevations of far northern Pennsylvania and northern New Jersey could see a couple inches out of it. But everywhere should be under 3. I think it would be the absolute highest that you see in these areas. But it has nothing further south, as you can see. Now, the high-resolution rapid refresh does the same thing with the changeover like the NAM does. And this is the long-range HRR, but look what it does. It changes to snow and mixes with and changes to snow right before it ends. And it doesn't do much. There's not much snow accumulation, but this takes it all the way to the coast. Now, I don't think that's right either. So maybe a blend of the two would probably be correct. But if you see some snowflakes, if you're in some of these central areas here, all the way down to Philadelphia even, if you see some snowflakes at the tail end, wouldn't be surprised at all, okay? It's not going to amount to anything, maybe an isolated coating, dusting kind of thing. It's going to be slushy because it's going to be raining prior and a lot of rain. But the big news here with this system coming in is really not the snow, although we have to mention that because there are some areas getting it. But if you look at total precipitation for this event, you got some significant amounts of precipitation shown on the NAM. Now, I think this is a little bit high than 3-kilometer NAM normally does that. But even if you take a look at this at the state level for the European model, and we do total precipitation, I think this is a little more realistic. But you get a lot of inch and a half to 2 in some of these areas. So there's some potential there for some decent amounts of rain with this. And another thing that comes in with this, with the this particular system is going to be some wind gusts that are going to pick up kind of around the time the changeover occurs across far northern Pennsylvania. Get some wind gusts picking up as we get during the day. It's fine. Once you get into the evening and overnight, you get some gusts here, 25 to 35 miles per hour, maybe peaking at about 40. I think it's about your upside. Maybe further south and east as this gets really cranky with a low-level jet, you might have some gusts that go over 40, but this is going to be temporary and it's going to be overnight, okay? And then once we get to about mid-morning or so on Friday, it goes up to that point, and then after that, we just very slowly, gradually decrease. But we'll still be breezy on Friday with some wind gusts that are still going to be in the 20s, certainly, throughout the day. So, cold day Friday, and we're going to have our last chance of winter, so to speak, before the official start of winter comes at 5:37 in the morning on Saturday. And I'm going to go back to a different view here to the East Coast, just so you can see. Once we go to get past this system and it moves away, we are going to turn mostly sunny for the next 4, 5, 6 days. Okay, we're going to have dry conditions with high pressure control. Temperatures are going to gradually increase. Saturday, you're going to be up to near 50 or either side of 50 degrees, maybe into the lower 50s in some areas. Sunday, you're in upper 50s or getting up in the mid to upper 50s for highs, maybe even close to 60. And then once we get to next week, I think we're in the 60s. So low to mid 60s, but 60s nevertheless. It's not going to be a repeat of what we had last week when we had that run at 70 degrees on a couple of those days, but not quite that warm. But it's still warm enough, and it's still warmer than average for this time of year. We're going to have that straight through the end of next week, I think, until we get to about Friday when we finally have a cold front move through at the end of the week. But until that point, we should be pretty dry, it looks like, and fantastic weather coming up for the week ahead. But you're just going to get past today and tomorrow. Today's going to be the rain. Not really too cold today, as you can see. 45 to 52 isn't really too bad on either side of average there. But tomorrow will be a cold day relative to average. It's our last day that's going to be that cold, because after that, not only going into next week are we going to turn warmer, but I think we stay at least near to slightly above average right toward the end of the month, and we go back to slightly above to above once we get into the first half of April. So we're going to have a long stretch of temperatures that are going to be sufficiently warm to not have to worry about anything below average that could bring us any wintry potential anymore. So this was our last chance. There's a little bit of snow that you might get here on the overnight period. If you see snowflakes, just bottle it up, because that's the last time you're going to see it for a while. It does look like once we get past this system, that's going to be just about it. So especially for those far northern areas, that's the last accumulation you're going to see. Whether or not it makes it as far south as the high-resolution rapid refresh thinks, we'll see. But I do think there's going to be some mixing before it ends here in some of those areas as well. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchus. That is your outlook for March 18th, 2021. Have a great Thursday.